That's James's dinner for today. And some chocolate cake. We're going to talk about this book. And it looks like James brought some other stuff out, which is weird because we're definitely not going to have enough time to talk about even the one. But we can do.
I didn't know you had notes, but you have been taking
Well.
But anyway, I brought Collected Poems, 1909 to 1935. You've got 1909 to 1962.
Yeah.
That might be his last collection. I believe he died in 1965.
Yeah, I'd planned on me reading that one and you reading this one, but somehow we got... No, it's okay. It doesn't really matter. So what we're doing is we're going through this book. I'd wondered if it was if both books offered the same stuff or whatever, and they pretty much do. So
he published a few poems after 1935, but it's almost 30 years and very few things added at the end.
So anyway, we're going through it together this way. So that's great that the library has 2 copies of basically the same thing, because this way we get to go through it sort of like a textbook.
So far I've been reading it out loud. Pauline's been following it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to follow.
And sometimes he reads it over again when I'm obviously not getting it.
I did it with one thing.
Yeah.
It was
and it's good that you did. I don't know where my head was when I was listening to it the
these things
first
happen.
time.
No one's in top-notch condition all the time.
So I don't know exactly if I should read the notes because they'll be terribly boring, I think.
Read a poem and then read the notes.
Oh, you think that's how we should do this?
Of course.
Well, maybe you should read the poem. You're better at this.
Sometimes.
Well, I think you are.
Oh yeah. Let's start off with Prufrock, right? And other observations.
Well, I guess that's it.
So that's his first volume of published poetry. 1917, see if I remember correctly. Prufrock and Other Observations, 1917, for Jean Verdinel. 1889, 1915, died 26 years old. Mort au Dardanelles, died in the Dardanelles. Almost certainly died around Gallipoli in the British invasion, attempted invasion of Turkey. And he was a French guy, just judging from his name. I won't attempt to. There's a epigraph there for the whole volume, and it's almost certainly taken from Dante's Divine Comedy. Okay, Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, and this might be taken from the epigraph here. Might be taken from Dante's Divine Comedy. I won't attempt to render it here. Let us go then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against the sky, a patient etherized upon a table. Let us go through certain half-deserted streets, the muttering retreats of restless nights in one-night cheap hotels and sawdust restaurants with oyster shells. Streets that follow like a tedious argument of insidious intent to lead you to an overwhelming question. Oh, do not ask, what is it? Let us go regardless. In the room, the women come and go, talking of Michelangelo. The yellow fog that rubs its back upon the window panes, the yellow smoke that rubs its muzzle on the window panes, licked its tongue into the corners of the evening, and lingered upon the pools that stand in grains, let fall upon its back the soot that falls from chimneys, slipped by the terrace, made a sudden leap, ran seeing that it was a soft October night, curled once about the house, and fell asleep. And indeed there will be time for the yellow smoke that slides along the street, rubbing its back upon the window panes. There will be time There will be time to prepare a face to meet the faces that you meet. There will be time to murder and create, and time for all the works and days of hands that lift and drop a question on your plate. Time for you, and time for me, and time yet for 100 indecisions, and for 100 visions and revisions before the taking of a toast and tea. In the room the women come and go, talking of Michelangelo. And indeed, there will be time to wonder, do I dare? And do I dare? Time to turn back and descend this stair with a bald spot in the middle of my hair. They will say, how his hair is growing thin. My morning coat, my collar mounted firmly to my chin, my necktie rich and modest, but asserted by a simple pin. They will say, but how his arms and legs are thin. Do I dare disturb the universe? In a minute there is time for decisions and revisions, which a minute will reverse. For I have known them all already, known them all. I've known the evenings, mornings, afternoons. I have measured up my life with coffee spoons. I know the voices dying with a dying call beneath the music from a farther room. So how should I presume? And I've known the eyes already, known them all, the eyes that fix you in a formulated phrase, and when I am formulated, sprawling on a pin, when I am pinned and wriggling on the wall, then how should I begin to spit out all the butt-ends of my days and ways? And how should I presume? And I have known the arms already, known them all, arms that are braceleted and white and bare, but in the lamplight, down with light brown hair. Is it perfume from a dress that makes me so digress? Arms that lie on a table or wrap about a shawl, and should I then presume? And how should I begin? Shall I say, I have gone at dusk through narrow streets, and watched the smoke that rises from the pipes of lonely men in shirt sleeves, leaning out of windows? And I should have been a pair of ragged claws, scuttling across the floors of silent seas. In the afternoon, the evening, sleeps so peacefully, smoothed by long fingers, asleep, tired, or it malingers, stretched on the floor, here beside you and me. Should I, after tea and cakes and ices, have the strength to force the moment to its crisis? For though I have wept and fasted, wept and prayed, though I have seen my head, slightly bald, brought in upon a platter, I am no prophet, and here's no great matter. I have seen the moment of my greatness flicker. I have seen the eternal footman hold my coat and snicker. And in short, I was afraid. And would it have been worth it after the cups, the marmalade, the tea, among the porcelain, among some talk of you and me? Would it have been worthwhile to have bitten off the matter with a smile, to squeeze the universe into a ball, to roll it towards some overwhelming question, to say, I am Lazarus, come from the dead, come back to tell you all. I shall tell you all. If one, settling a pillow by her head, should say that is not what I meant at all, that is not it at all, and would it have been worth it after all? Would it have been worthwhile after the sunsets and the dooryards and the sprinkled streets, after the novels, after the teacups, after the skirts that trail along the floor? And this, and so much more, it is impossible to say just what I mean, but as if a magic lamp threw the nerves and patterns on a screen, would it have been worthwhile if one, settling a pillow or throwing off a shawl and turning toward the window, should say, that is not it at all, that is not what I meant at all. No, I am not Prince Hamlet, nor was meant to be. I am an attendant lord, one that will do to swell a progress, start a scene or two, advise the prince. No doubt an easy tool, deferential, glad to be of use, politic, cautious, meticulous, full of high sentence, but a bit obtuse, at times indeed, almost ridiculous, almost at times the fool. I grow old, I grow old. I shall wear the bottoms of my trousers. Whoa. Shall I part my hair behind? Do I dare to eat a peach? I shall wear white flannel trousers and walk upon the beach. I have heard the mermaids singing each to each. I do not think that they will sing to me. I have seen them riding seaward on the waves, combing the white hair of the waves blown back when the wind blows the water white and black. We have lingered in the chambers of the sea by sea girls wreathed with seaweed, red and brown, till human voices wake us and we drown.
Yeah, well, that's very beautiful.
It's well done, Jim.
And let's see, what did I write here? I wrote about Churchill foolishly decided to invade Turkey through the Dardanelles near Troy, strategic for Greek control of Black Sea, cliffs rising out of the water, so the military coming in were sitting ducks.
Churchill did strategy according to very crude maps. No clue. He wanted to invade in World War II Germany from the south through the soft underbelly of the Alps.
And the Italian poem that he offers at the beginning of this, oftentimes you'll see in the T.S. Eliot things, there's a little bit of something from some other language, generally, that is offered up just before. Just a little.
He's showing off his learning as much as anything. Greek, Latin,
and luckily,
Italian.
I know somebody who understands, who can read many languages, so he's able to tell me what it means right away. And this might not be this might not put me further ahead of reading through this than any of you at home watching on the computer, because you could probably find this on the internet and just put whatever little bit, like copy and paste it into a Google translation tool or something like that, and you'll know what it says too, right? So it really shouldn't be that hard to go through this.
It might be worth it, folks.
Yeah. So the Italian poem, it has a A-B-A-B-C-B rhyme pattern, and then
that's a divine comedy, tzatziki,
yes,
that's called.
Whereas Eliot's does not. It has a regular. It doesn't have a regular rhythm pattern, but it's an ode of sort. It does have rhymes.
It has this kind of rhythm pattern. It seems to be like running, iambic generally. Or you could say by times trochaic and stuff like that. So it basically goes da 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 da, or da 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 da. The way the lines start.
But the lines are not the same.
Not the same line.
No, at all. So, and James was mentioning that I guess a lot of people believe that T.S. Eliot was homosexual.
Some people,
but
I don't know if a lot of people.
Doesn't
a lot of people
appear
don't
as
really
such.
care.
I mean, he doesn't seem to like some women, or maybe it's older women.
I don't think he liked women generally,
but
he was
I
married
don't get
twice.
the impression that he finds men attractive. I mean, there is mention of Michelangelo with lots of male nudes, but whatever. The women are talking about that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So
I don't think he liked people generally, and I'm not sure if he really liked himself that much.
So yellow and gray means indecision. And
this is from Max Luscher's The Color Test, and it is striking when you look at the colors that dominate in almost all of the poem. The first 90% or more of it, yellow and gray, again and again and again and again. Max Luscher's color test says that indicates that people who prefer that color are indecisive. Say what? This was published in 1917. Luscher's color test was published. I think he was alive at that point in time, but I don't think he'd done any of his research by 1917. There might be something to Luscher's color test, because it's not just the colors, it's the repeated questioning. Would it have been worthwhile? If, when, where, on and on it goes. Indecision. So rhetorically, it's indecisive, and in terms of the color test, it's indecisive too. Huh? I think there is something to Max Luscher claimed. I think Max was his first name. Luscher, L-U-S-C-H-E-R, with 2 dots over the U. He claimed that he'd done statistical work on people, try and get psychological profiles, and I'm thinking he was onto something, at least in some cases. Okay.
Eliot loved cats.
Yeah, he did.
There
He
will
wrote
be
many
time.
of the
There's-
original lyrics for Cats. The Tim Rice, no, I don't know if Tim Rice, but Andrew Lloyd Webber vehicle, the musical, I wouldn't want to call it an opera. Got to
and
be a comic.
there's a common, there will be time, and again, it kind of lends itself to procrastination, right? When you're thinking that way.
Well, yeah, exactly right. So he does repeat that. I don't generally recommend that people repeat too much. Eliot, we'll see it later. You can tell when he's falling apart because he's repeat as a poet. 1930. Remember Ash Wednesday? How much repetition there was?
We'll get there eventually.
Exactly right. But he says, there will be time, there will be time. It's just like he's taking time because he's procrastinating.
And then in the room, ... Michelangelo. That part's that's repeated like a chorus, or maybe a refrain. But
more like a refrain, yeah.
But
I said
it's
chorus.
only repeated once. So he shifted the rhetoric for I have known them all, pinned like a moth, not even a crab, just the claws. Reference to John the Baptist. He mentions clothing a lot, and he does this in other poems too. Dress, coat, Prufrock, which I guess Prufrock is a black robe worn by professors,
I believe, something like that. Right?
So shirts, shawl, trousers. So he's mentioning clothing a lot, and just that. I guess with the crab then too. You think, well, clothing, maybe it's like an armor or something like that. I don't know, but maybe not. Magic lantern, predecessor of slides. Prince Hamlet's fault, procrastination. Progress like a campaign. King making way through the lands to show face. Peach, white, beach, white and black, red and brown. He doesn't expect that a woman will fall in love with him. That's what I have written.
Yeah, so
my notes.
Right at the end.
Great, I guess.
He mentions peach, which is a variation on the yellow color. I think of it as being peaches having a little shades of red in it.
Well, sure, like beach also, that's a kind of a yellowish color too, but it's a little bit warmer of a yellow
It can be.
than
Anyway, it changes there.
certainly than smog and whatever.
I've seen them riding seaward on the waves when the wind blows the water white and black. All of a sudden, it's not yellow and gray. It's the very stark contrast between white and black. Max Luscher claimed that yellow and white have similar psychological attributes or something like that. So he goes, I just dealt with a simple color test which deals with, as I recall, 8 colors, but he has a more complex, or had a more complex one out there that involved something like an array of 9 by 9, maybe 81.
Yeah, I couldn't get a hold of that for you though.
No,
I tried to borrow it from the library. But
anyway,
not
all of a sudden he changes gears when it comes to colors, and all of a sudden it is about not wishy-washy yellow and gray, it's white and black. And Eliot intended that. I think there's more to Max Luscher than just the yellow and gray, white and black, which would be like yellow for him, white being similar to yellow. What does the combo yellow and black mean? It means, to put it into 2 sorts of things, self-destructiveness and headstrong action. And here it's more like headstrong action, but consider the last line of the poem, till human voices wake us and we drown. But then he goes from the white and black. We have lingered in the chambers of the sea, by sea girls wreathed with seaweed, red and brown. What does Max Lusher say about people who prefer red and brown? Inordinate love of luxury. So there's this luxury, just wreathed in seaweed, that's all, the red and brown. He's laid it out for you. He's hammering you with these white and black, red and brown. But before, he set it all up with this languorous, smoky sunset, yellow and gray. It's just on and on it's going, and then all of a sudden, wham, wham, wham. And then, he's dreaming, and the human wake, till human voices wake us, and we drown. He just wakes up, and he's kind of drowning something like reality.
Yeah. And another thing about back to the gay thing. It's obvious in this poem when he's mentioning, he's known them all or whatever.
I have known the arms already.
Yeah, it's very obvious that they're female. Right?
Arms that are braceleted.
Yeah,
Could be
not
cross
too many.
And white and bare. But in the lamplight, down with light brown hair. It's not a bear, like some gay bear or something like that. Yeah, women generally have a little bit of hair down, kind of like some, I suppose, have more hair like that.
I am covered. I have it everywhere. It's when I get
it's
more
golden,
of a tan in the summer, then you look at me and it's you can really see it.
Well, I'm not worried about it, but it's golden. It's kind of just like it melts into her. She's got a golden kind of complexion. So
it's everywhere. What can I do about it? I don't.
The thing to do is to enjoy it.
I like it. Yeah. It makes me very soft.
Yeah.
It's you should just find what you like about everything. I mean, everything can be a blessing if you just look at it the right way. So.
Well, I feel for bears. Like.
They're probably warmer.
Exactly.
That might be very nice, especially on a day like today.
I'm not going to mention exactly what happens with the bear with who's that guy who looks like the ultimate rock star, but he was a comic guy. The dark-haired guy, but he looks like he's a comedy guy.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Anyway, he had an encounter with a bear, and that's the first time I'd ever run across it.
A bear person?
Yeah.
Oh, a bear person.
Yeah, a bear gay guy. Right?
Okay.
And I keep thinking his name is Trevor, but it's not. He's an English guy. Got kind of like a high voice. It's weird.
Oh, that one that guy that you like.
I really like that guy.
Yeah.
It looks like the ultimate rock star.
What his name is, but I know you've talked
Russell
about
Brand.
Yes.
Anyway, he kind of finds the bear guy really off-putting. It must be awful to be a gay bear, What can I say?
No.
Maybe some guys really, really like that. That's good.
And maybe some people that, when you end up with somebody later on, when you find somebody to be your life partner, I mean, you want somebody that's going to look a little more at who you are, rather than what shell you wear. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, of course, it's not necessary for a person to get a life partner or anything like that. Some people are made. I think T.S. Eliot might have been one, at least initially, to be just by themselves.
Well, it might have been better for him, as it turned out. I mean.
Yeah. Well, I think
we'll get to
his second marriage ended up working out in.
Well, he was obviously so broken after. Well, whatever. Maybe,
yeah, you're right.
Maybe he had a happy life, but
as happy as someone like him could have. Anyway, it ruined him as a poet. But maybe he's just looking for something as an excuse,
Anyway,
But yeah, his first wife,
we'll get to that.
with the weight.
Yeah, but we don't have time for Portrait of a Lady, so I guess you
How
may
much
as well
time do
talk
we
about
got?
some math.
There we go.
So
Going from the
you have
well, the
4
sublime to the
minutes.
sublime. There we go.
4 minutes to talk about math.
So I started this the other day, threatened you with it, you folks with it. Yesterday, I had mercy on you. Now I'm going to have 4 minutes, 3 minutes of not so much mercy. Anyway, this is a variety of different things in here. It actually comes, I ended up 2 days ago by roundly scolding Princeton University Press for all the mistakes in here. This is not a long book. I think it's a little over 200 pages, not even 200 pages. And there are so many mistakes in here. Copy editing mistakes, it's absolutely inexcusable. Especially seeing that they put it out in hardcover. They charge a huge coin for the hardcover version of it. Paperback probably huge coin as well. But the content is fairly good. I mean, it's basically at a popular level. It's not really hardcore math. There's a few equations in here, but equations really aren't that bad, you know, folks. I can remember one guy who was a scientist who was saying, he was a physicist. He said, man, oh man, the last thing I want to have people know at a party is that I'm a physicist. I said, how come? And he said, well, you know, people start acting as though they're afraid an equation is going to pop out of my mouth. Yeah, it's probably worse than tussing at a party. Indulge in spouting equations. Anyway, I think that'll be about it. Pauline's coming out. She spared herself some of the math. You want to check and see if there's any time left?
Yeah, there would be. You have 1.5 minutes.
Oh, there we go. So, anyway, there's some problems in here that were solved during the 20th century, and there's some that still remain to be solved. A hypercubical soap bubble. So it's actually almost like a cube, not so much a circle. Isn't that weird? I guess you can make bubbles like that. So kind of different. Based on mathematics. There's a lot of Hilbert in here, maybe too much. I used to think he was severely overrated. I think he's still a little bit underrated, but I've developed a bit more respect for David Hilbert after reading this book. I think he was more interested in organizing the whole thing. He was a bit like, who was that idiot? Niels Bohr, who wanted to organize the whole quantum effort, well, the whole physics, theoretical physics effort. And I prefer mathematicians who actually aren't like Erdos, who would deal with this problem, deal with this problem, and this problem, and this problem. That's probably all I got to say right now.
Okay.